It is a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host Yells. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. What day is it? I don't
Good.
even remember what day is it. Tuesday?
Wednesday. It's
Wednesday.
Wednesday, my dude.
Look at that. Well, it's hump day. And I'm definitely gonna get in on the festivities today. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Hey man.
Yes, sir. You know what? You know who's not gonna be getting into any kind of festivities today at all, though? Bad Boys, because they have a coaching problem.
Uh,
Sonny Jackson is gone, been fired, relieved of his duties this morning.
yeah.
Not a good sign at all. Go ahead.
I mean, hey, when you're saying here, you know who's not having a good day or who he hasn't been doing any. What's going to change? Coach Sonny Jackson came in at the end of the season. Last season had a few things rocking and rolling, but so thus far this season, recruiting wise, we have not heard a freaking peep out of Detroit. I don't know if that has to do with Lorenzo Phenom's dad still being a hanging aura over the team. I don't know if there's some ownership issues there, but I tell you what, as the coach, you better be on your job because
Yeah.
ownership is going to come down on you first. We see it at
Yep.
all levels. We saw it with APAC just the other day. They were not active. They let Sung Chung Gu slip away. And now, out of Bad Boys, I would say the Hilario brothers, all three of them, were really highly touted recruits out of the Detroit, Michigan area.
Yeah.
Though all three of them being gone, that probably sealed his fate.
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely, I would imagine. So yeah, you have. We say it all the time, y'all, especially at this level and the college level. You have to keep those hometown kids, home region kids, close to that area because more times than not, the first schools that are going to be looking at them are going to be those schools in that area. So in this case, it'd be Michigan State as example off the top of my head, two quick ones off my head. So it's the whole point. Like it's prep basketball. Keep the kids in the area if you can. If not, someone else is going to get them, and then they'll get looks from schools that aren't in the area because they're already over there playing.
Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart for those kids. I would say Coach Jackson, sad to see you go, but I'm gonna be honest. For the sake of the kids that are trying to make something of themselves, as my mom and most of our grandmoms, if anybody from the South would say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. I thought that was hysterical, man. Like,
I
there's a
like that.
split.
I like that.
Once I got it, I thought it was crazy. But
That
yeah,
is
I
good.
mean, I guess he's out. The rumors I'm hearing, I always come with a little bit of info. My ears to
Of
the
course,
streets.
yeah.
Sometimes I gotta lay down. Sometimes it comes to me. Hey, but Munch Williams may be making a return. He was a fan favorite in the city. Lorenzo Phenom is no longer there. So I don't think that there could be something in the works there. But yeah, it looks like Bad Boys Basketball has an immediate plan to replace and get active in the region.
That was gonna be my next question. Or next thought was gonna be,
I
would we
beat you.
see the return of Munch Williams? Because I love Munch, great guy, always a pleasure to talk to, that kind of stuff, and to know that he's possibly gonna be coming back to Bad Boys is gonna be good. I can already hear though, Mr. Matthews, uh, maybe having something to say about that one.
Maybe,
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 maybe not. Who knows? Who
maybe
knows?
not.
One of those things of like, if it didn't work the first time, why wouldn't it work the last time? But to be fair to Munch, he had a lot of good things going for Bad Boys before the change in regime over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I don't think ownership was in place there at that time. I think SimWorld Sports was probably running the show. Motor City Sports Group had not come into play with them, so we'll see what happens. But what we do know is Motor City Sports Group was not happy with Coach Sonny Jackson because he is out. As I said yesterday, hey, either you were too incompetent to know what was going on, or you were in on it. Either way, you're out. Thank you, Sam Rothstein, courtesy of the great movie Casino.
gone. See you later. And let's move on here, shall we? Though to another thing where somebody's gone and see you later, going somewhere else. Commitment Craze Day 4 is going on, and earlier early this morning already. We already have a commit.
Yep.
Olvin Carballo committing to Southeast Select
That dude got,
over Latin America.
he's got game too. He's got game. Before I say any of my thoughts, be run on this,
Yeah.
get it in, man.
Yeah. So the whole thing with Carballo, he was reportedly he had reportedly had hard commit offers um from both teams, both Latin America and Southeast Select. And he had he had a soft commit potentially to Latin America, but he declined those and decided to go to Southeast Select. So that's interesting, knowing that he's going to be leaving the region, Latin America region, and coming over to Tennessee and joining Southeast Select to play with Gabe Pope, which that might have been a reason why he went there, if I had to guess. I don't know if they're friends or anything, but I think knowing that one of your fellow countrymen is already there makes it easier for you to decide to go over to another team and play, because you'll have somebody already who's familiar with you and knows you, and the culture connection, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either way it goes, I could beat it down. I could beat it down about playing in his home area, but apparently there's some reason why he chose not to. The same reason that seems like everyone is choosing not to, which seems to be the reason. Yeah, let me not go that route. He saw something that Southeast Select. It's a great organization. Gabe Pope, like you said, is there. That's probably going to be a great 1-2 punch, and I'm sure they'll have some great chemistry there. Coach Brad Lee finally getting active in the recruiting pool. I like to see it. I think it's a great pickup. I like the kid's game a lot, and I'll start there. I got a chance to see some footage. I think the whole world may have probably tuned in. He's really crafty. He can get to the basket. Was fearless. He had a little bit of a jumper, and he was sneaky athletic. I really like his game. I think he brings an element that Southeast Select did not have last year. Everything was kind of predicated around movement, getting Trey Turner open, and on occasion, Terrell Pearson would just run it down another team's throat.
So good.
But
to
now
see,
we'll
too.
see some craftiness, and who doesn't want to see crafty?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We love crafty basketball around these parts. As someone who, was a crafty player myself, I love to see that. Um Something that I was scrolling through social this morning, looking at this news particular, we're talking about it, and there are people talking about how, you know, three of the Puerto Rican players that are not in Latin America playing for that team are there was a lot of talk about, them uplifting the game in the area, and all those players are gone. JMO, Olvin now, and Gabe Pope. So like, Richard Hennessy is one of the only kids that's there for Latin America. Is that part of, maybe, I don't want to say a trend necessarily, but why do all the talking about that kind of stuff and then not follow through with it, regardless of if you're getting those uh offers or not? That doesn't make much sense to me.
I think you're waiting on me to have a response. Like, hey,
Yes.
sometimes I'm dumbfounded, man. When I don't know what to say, it's hard for me to figure. It's hard for me to
I
say anything at all. I
I got you.
I wish that I could conjure up some good media esque, some good league esque, some good hot take or some devil's advocate. I can't really say. I can't really say other than clearly they think the exposure is greater on the U.S. side. But as I've said before, things take time. Somebody has to stand their ground at some point and say, "Hey, I'm gonna make a name for it" or whatnot. I don't know. Maybe they put the team. Maybe they put Latin basketball on the map by playing in the U.S. and then the next big star comes out
Right.
of
Yep.
the Latin
Yep.
area, but then they get plucked
Yeah.
and they come to the U.S. again. So I don't understand how the cycle stops unless someone stays there and says, "Hey, I am a big talent. I know I'm not getting all of the looks that I could get elsewhere, but I'm going to
Right.
do it here."
Yeah, and that's part of it too, though, I think, and that's something that I had brought about previously with, other players from international regions. Maybe that's what it is, where these players, they decide to join the U.S. side of things here in SimWorld Prep, and then like you said, talent in that area blossoms, and then it stays home because they don't have to go to the U.S. to play, if that makes sense, to get that exposure. They already have their name out there already in those international circles, so they can stay there. So yeah, just my quick thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hey, I feel you. I don't have anything to say, but nevertheless, great pickup for Southeast Select. They
yeah,
win in this
100%.
one, and there's nothing to be said about that. But there is something to be said about Cooper Flagg's name coming up again, yet again, in
Yeah.
SimWorld Prep this morning. We're hearing stories that maybe him and his brother, they've been seen around the area, and the OGs they've already referenced. They stay in the area. He mentioned if he were to play in SimWorld Prep, that's where he would go.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So that's popping up again. Do you think it's any possibility that he truly comes to SimWorld Prep, and will he honor his words of going to OGs if that's the case?
Yes and yes. To both questions. I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago or maybe a few weeks ago when that news first broke about Cooper Flag possibly joining SimWorld Prep, and or he had said at the time that it wasn't in the cards, whatever it was at that point in time. And there were a lot of the kids in SimWorld Prep were talking some kind of way about it. They felt, if you remember back to the Bronny James situation last season, when they were talking about him and his brother joining and playing for Showtime, that kind of stuff. It was a very similar response from the players talking about how they, they have to earn their respect and that kind of thing. I think it's kind of funny to see all of that talk kind of come back around to this situation, and that maybe we'll have to see exactly why Cooper Flag is the player that everyone says he is, if that makes sense. So yeah, I do think we'll see him in Simo Prep, and I do think we'll see him with the OGs because some of these players are coming in, some of these kids are coming in, and they're talking all kinds of smack. If it was me, and if I'm hearing all that stuff, oh, really? You think I don't deserve a spot? You think I'm gonna have to earn a spot? I'm this good. I'll show you that I don't have to earn a spot. I will take a spot from you if I have to.
From you.
So yeah, that's just my little quick, spiel thoughts on that, man.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the move though. I hope he comes to my prep. I really do. Hope he does.
Okay. Well, I mean, it will be huge for SimWorld Sports, huge for SimWorld Prep. So
Yep.
obviously, we're looking forward to it. Let's see it. Let's hope for it. Let's hope for it for Coach Dodge too, and for the rest of the league. I don't know if y'all are hoping for it. There was a lot of tough talk out there.
Yeah,
There's a lot
what
of
I'm saying.
tough talk. He's got to earn it. You remember last year, everyone was like, "Oh, Bronny, he's gonna
Yep.
have." Wait. Let's go backwards. B-Ron, these were actual statements. Listeners, whoever's tuning into the show right now, these were actual statements that were made by kids. If you need to know the mind state of kids nowadays, these were statements that were made last year when Bronny
You got
joined the league.
receipts.
You
Let's
ready?
go.
You ready for this? B-Ron, tell me if
Yeah,
you
I
remember
am.
this.
Memory lane. Let's go.
Player that had showed up and had been part of SimWorld for 5 days. He's going to have to show me. Another player, unranked probably at the time, maybe a top 100 player, statements on Bronny James. He's going to have to earn my respect.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, all that being said, that's what happened last season. So yeah, I'm sure the same things are being said internally, externally, and y'all got all
They
that to
work.
say for Cooper Flag. If he does come this way, yeah, you'll get a chance. You'll get a chance to see why.
Sure work.
And here's the thing: before we get off this subject, B-Ron, it's perfectly okay. It makes sense. It's understandable, and it is anticipated. And I promote that all of these kids have extreme self-confidence, because for you to be successful at the highest levels, you have to have the highest levels of confidence. You have to
Yes.
think that you are the greatest. You have to work like you are going to be one of the greatest, and you have to see yourself and tell yourself every day that you're the greatest. Key word is yourself. You tell yourself that, because public perception, you'll get ostracized real quick. You'll look like a fool real quick if it's not the case. You work towards it, and you say it to yourself, but you don't put those expectations on other people, because then it can look really bad. So when you're out there saying,
Yeah.
hey, I'm the best, I got to think I'm the best, right? Yeah, you got to think it. There's lots of scouts. There's lots of owners. There's lots of coaches. There's lots of people that have been doing this for many, many years. And
Yeah.
all the eyes out there, and people come to a consensus point of view that, hey, here are some of the top players. Guess what? There's some of the top players. They can be wrong on occasion, and you can grow to overtake their spot. Or just like how Michael Jordan had people, him and Kobe had people above them, and they had to come for those spots because they couldn't believe
Right.
the scouts had it wrong. I don't believe the
Right.
scouts had it wrong. I think those players were motivated and became better than what the scouts had seen. But the scouts' job is to go by the footage they've seen and to say what they think the case is. So you got to humble yourselves, kids, and you got to work on it. And yeah, if
Yeah.
the majority of people say something, more than likely it's true. The old joke used to be, hey, man, they used to say Whitney Houston smoked a lot of cocaine. Bless her soul, she's gone. Nobody wanted to say nothing, but the good joke, I can't remember who it was. It was like, everybody's saying she ain't doing anything. Like, hey, Whitney Houston's knees are almost gone. Everybody said it. She didn't have kneecaps, so it kind of had to be true. Come to find out it was true. So slow your roll, guys. Cooper Flagg's
Right.
one of the best. Everyone's saying it. He probably is. So
Yeah.
y'all got to do
can
more earning than he does.
Yeah, can we take a quick trip back to the first time Cooper Flag would talk about him? Because I pulled up some receipts of my own here
Oh, the
for this real
receipts.
quick.
The
Not,
receipts.
I'm not gonna spend too
Is
long on this
it
because
is it
I
like
know
a
I gotta get moving.
CVS or one of those long ass CVS receipts? You know how you go buy two things at CVS and they give you a receipt for as if you bought 49 items.
So yes, but I don't have time to read through all of that
All right,
today.
all right, all right.
So I'm gonna just give you two. I'm not gonna name players. I'll give you two. It's for the best that Cooper Flag doesn't come to SimWorld Prep. We have enough talent as it is. Player number one, and then player number two said something like, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Hopefully he wasn't thinking anything will be sweet up here. So it's like, okay, like I don't know, man. Y'all. Anyway. Let's not rehash any of that. We've been through it already. But we'll see. We'll see, Cooper Flag. Hopefully you join, and hopefully look forward to seeing you in a OG's uniform this coming
It's a
season.
good looking jersey too. I really like that new logo. It's
Yeah,
pretty pink. But
ab-
hey,
absolutely.
not getting the respect they reserve. Who are we talking about here, B. Ron?
The Philadelphia Elite
Yes,
and
we are.
Coach Dries Williams.
Yes.
They feel like they're, like you said, not getting enough respect. After a solid recruiting start, they landed Monty Parson. A few one of the in one of the earlier days of the craze here, and a few other names who I'm forgetting at the moment. Not out of any disrespect for anybody. There's just a lot of names that've been going on the last couple of days
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But there's just I think that they are on the right track, and I've said it before. I said it last season. Once Coach Dries got his claws really into this team, he was gonna make them live up to that moniker of elite, and I think that they're well on the way to doing that. So personally, like, they have my respect. I don't know where this lack of respect is coming from, but they have mine as a media figure.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna take a different stance. They were 13 and 18 last season. When I look at the proof in the pudding, they competed, but they didn't get it done. They did not get the job done. So if we're going by history,
That's a fact.
what are we respecting? The potential? Because the potential can be, yeah. Well, let's respect the potential. Let's look at what they may stack up to be here this upcoming season. They have some top tier recruits. They got Monte Parsons in there. That was huge.
Yep.
Azunda Mazaka out of New York is going to be quite a talent. They still got Nas Hall. Orlin Mock is a hell of a defender. Jermaine Owens a hell of a defender. AJ Frost JT King, Alex Matthews. I mean, they've almost filled out their entire roster, and we'll get into that. I think they have a lot of talent. I think they're New York heavy. I don't see a Philly kid on this team. I don't know what's happening there. But yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good this season. But they got to earn it on the court because last season they didn't get it done. Sorry, Coach Drees, you ain't get it done.
Understandable. I see your viewpoint, where you're coming from. I get that, but yes, that's essentially what I'm doing is respecting the potential and believing what I saw from last season. Again, getting things figured out. I saw what was happening there, and looking forward, I definitely see what's going on here. I think that I personally, again, think there'll be a problem this season. But once roster finalized, we can talk more about that in more detail. But there was a lot of news last night, through the last bit of recruiting for Commitment Craze. Again, day 3 is wrapped up. We're now on day 4. Just quickly go over some things here. Carter Cash going to Gotham 5. Josiah Cook joining the Yacht Club. Both of the King brothers, JT and JC, are joining the Philadelphia Elite. Daniel Hardaway back to the Breakers. There's a lot of things here. Any thoughts on anything in particular?
Mardon, Lone Star Basketball, playing alongside Arthur Lattimore. It's going to be crazy. The Hilario brothers, all in full. Looks like they, again, probably led to a little bit of the demise for Coach Jackson. All playing for Heartland Zombie Stars. Under the radar moves that I don't think are going to end up being so under the radar by the time it's all said and done. Cam Astro making a return, and Devontae Schindler out in Rocky Mountain along with Dink Pate. Rocky Mountain's reloading. They weren't a bad team. They didn't lose a whole lot. They still got Justin Bell. They still have Daquan McDougal quietly moving in the wings, getting it done out there. And then other than that, everyone's talked about everything yesterday, all the moves, but those were the ones that kind of jumped off the paper for me, or as kind of low key moves, and then obviously Devin Fields going to APAC right after the ousting of Coach Mack. So it's really good stuff. Let me not shout out. Let me not miss one last thing. Rosante, Coach Vance, or owner Rosante Vance, or dual owner, whatever you want to call him. He's the owner and the coach, right? For Lakeshore Drive, getting it in. He brought in Witness Work. I love that dude's game. I love his name, and I'm here to witness the work. I'm all about it. He brought in Illinois Mr. Basketball, Tyreek Watt, and Rodney Blackenstein. Looks like he got right to work. So we'll see. That was actually my main takeaway. I almost forgot
his pedigree. Not surprised he was able to bring that caliber of kid to his team.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you want to say about how the situation was handled back when it happened between him and Coach Lovelace, the fact is he's able to get a team together and he's able to make hopefully a competitive team this season for Lakeshore Drive. But yeah, I think that's it, right? We got everything?
you act like it's a business transaction here, man. I think that's it. Look, I guess since B-Ron clearly has some plans, I don't know what her name is, but since B-Ron has some plans, we appreciate y'all being with us today on another Wednesday. Looking forward to day 4 or 5, whatever it is. Commitment Craze continues.
Together,
McDonald's All-American game coming up on the 26th. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. That's on a Thursday night. Dunk contest, 3-point contest, all of the top seniors in the high school world. But today, I'm going to go ahead and take this one, B-Ron. Y'all have a great rest of the week. And of course, and as always, see the game. Be the game. We out.
See you tomorrow.